Sir, we'll start, sir.
Okay, sir. We will start. Yeah. Dear participants, good afternoon all. We welcome on behalf of SKCT management and the Department of Mechatronics Engineering and all our team to our MC Atal FDP on the day 4, session 12 on the topic design and development of low-cost 3D printers. Today we have an eminent resource person, Mr. Rahul Verma sir, who is the production manager, 3 Dexter Education Private Limited, New Delhi with us. We are happy to welcome him, and I will just give a small hint, okay, about sir's expertise in various areas. And regarding sir's education qualification, sir has done his tool engineering in Delhi Institute of Tool Engineering. He has completed his BTech Tool Engineering in the year 2012 to 16. And regarding sir's achievements and his skill sets, he is an expert in additive manufacturing who has worked in FDM for a long time. He has designed 3D printers. He has a ample knowledge in direct metal laser sintering, binder jetting, lithography, selective laser sintering, and EBM. Okay, and in 3D printing slicing softwares like Ultimaker, Cura, Simplify 3D, Slicer, Slicer, and in designing, Sir has an experience in Autodesk Fusion, SketchUp, SolidWorks, CATIA, Autodesk, and technical training and digital marketing. And regarding Sir's career highlights, he is now currently the production manager with 3 Dexter Education Private Limited. He has researched, designed, and developed various versions of 3D printer within the company. And his vision is to spread this technology all over India in various schools, which will digitalize as well as educate the school students at various levels. And Sir has worked on the firmware modifications and upgradation of the printers. He has worked on various future inclusions in printers such as auto loading, unloading of the filament, auto bed level, mesh calibration, and he has contributed to the curriculum development of various technical levels of STEM projects and content in 3 Dexter bundle packages. And he has a fantastic experience in taking up over 50 plus technical workshops all over the nation to various educators, students, and corporates on FDM based 3D printers, design thinking of integrating designing and RPT and manufacturing. And another significant highlight is that Sir has taken a full day technical session for the National Automotive Component Manufacturers Association of India, and he has made them to understand the concept of 3D printers, installation, and how to manufacture and make that a simple manufacturing concepts with help of additive manufacturing to avoid the cost for testing and customization. And he has taken an intensive 2 day session for professors at Vailtech Rangarajan, Dr. Sakuntala R&D Institute of Science and Technology. And he has made them understand the basic engineering concepts of 3D printing, additive manufacturing, hands-on printing, and designing the software. He has considerably taken workshop course on additive manufacturing applications and various topics at the prestigious institutes of like DTU, IIT Allahabad, JSS Academy of Technical Education, Noida, GL Bajaj Institute of Technology and Management, Greater Noida. And Sir has developed a workshop content at designing SolidWorks, CATIA, 3D printing, vacuum casting, woodworking, and 3D scanning systems. And he has been a guest speaker at FDP program in SV Polytechnic, Bhopal on 3D printing design and application. He has taken an intensive 5 days training on 3D printing and its applications along with slicing software at OP Jindal University, Raigarh for faculty members as well as the lab in charges. And for their newly purchased 3D printer, he has given a full hands-on session, and he has successfully implemented the design and prototyping of various varied clients such as MSIL, TEDx, IGDTU, and other small-scale manufacturing industries. And last but not the least, our chief guest sir, he has an ample experience by his profile. Every one of us will know participants that he is an expert in testing and troubleshooting different FDM based 3D printers. Okay, and we are very happy to have such an eminent person today for this session, wonderful session. We hope our chief guest sir Rahul Verma sir will make this session more interactive with you all. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. We hand over the session to you. Thank you very much, Rahul sir. Sir,
Thank you very much, sir, for this. Hello. Yeah, thank you very much, sir, for this amazing introduction of mine. So first of all, let me just share my screen so that everyone can see it. Okay. Okay. So, like I just wanted a small heads up. Is my screen visible?
Sir, no, sir. I think you have to share, sir. Still screen
Yeah, I
sharing.
have shared it.
Yes, sir. Now it's coming. Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect, sir, perfect. So one more thing, I am going to turn off my video first so that the bandwidth is really available for all of us. All right. So thank you very much, sir, for this amazing introduction of mine. So now let me start. So now before I start anything, let me just okay now. So now, as all of you know, that this session is going to be on and about how to manufacture a low cost 3D printer. And yeah, so yes, this session is going to be like how to design and develop a new low cost FDM based 3D printer. So, but first of all, I would like to give my acknowledgements towards the principal and management of the Sri Krishna College. Also, I would like to provide my thanks to Mr. Vignesh sir for coordinating with us and giving us the opportunity to present this session. Now, so now we really need to start. So let's have a look onto the agenda. Okay, and I would like to finish up my this session in around in 1 hour, so that we can take up the questions at the end of the session, which will make this learning experience even better. And one more thing, as today's session were taken up by our team, so if you have any questions regarding this session or today's previous sessions, then you may ask them towards the end of the session. Also, I will be showing you a small portion of how do we configure the firmware for the printer according to the design that we have made. All right. So so today we'll be first discussing the general new product development process, and then follow that I will tell you using which process we really made our 3D printer. Then after that, I will give you insights into the 3D printer designs that we have made till now, and also I'll give you what exactly we learned from the failures and success of all those designs. All right. Just after that, we will be discussing about how exactly we should start making a new 3D printer, and follow that I will show you our own 3D printer designs, so that you can also learn how exactly our 3D printer is developed. All right. And at the last, I'll show you how do we make some changes and advancements in the printer. Okay. So as we discussed on the agenda, let's start with the new product development, also known as NPD process. This process consists of 5 different steps, such as concept, research, analysis, develop, and launch. But I know that you all have, like, you must all be thinking that like all of these things we already know, and we already have learned about all these things in our engineering classes. Therefore, I'm not going to keep like deep dive into the topic, because you already know about these things, right? But what do you really need to know that we also didn't properly use the previous before set process. What we really used was the adapt process, which is also known as the design thinking process to, and we really use this design thinking process to develop our own 3D printers. All right. So, but actually the thing is, like, if we start discussing about this DT process, then it is going to be a stretch over. This session is going to stretch over 1 hour. So we won't going, like, we are not going to discuss this thing just to fulfill the today's agenda. So let's save this topic for the some other time. But we should all know what the full form of the adapt is: emphasize, define, ideate, prototype, and test. And so using this DT, we designed and developed all the 3D printers. Okay, so this is our first proud creation, 3Dexter Innovator, which is made up of an MDF body and has a detachable, or you can say a movable LCD, and it has a printable dimension as 150 by 180 cube. But there are always some flaws in one design, and one thing I would really like to mention here is that we when we first made this printer, we were not able to make it the way we wanted to start the project, and the project took more than 2 months just to complete, because as we all are Indian, and we, as an Indian, what we did was we purchased all of the parts from our local market, and that too the cheapest one that we can find. Right, at that time we were not able to see what we were able to see that the cost of the printer is very much low from the first that we anticipated. Okay, so after we purchase all the parts of the 3D printer and take them back to our office, and after that we gave a design for to the person who does the laser cutting. This process took around 1 week, and after 1 week we checked our purchase parts, and we got to know that the cheap parts that we purchased from the local market are now rusted from all the places, and they are not like, and there is no way that we can use those parts. Okay, therefore we always have to purchase adequate parts, and then after we purchase the good quality parts, then we got to know like there is a very huge difference between the software assembly and the real life assembly. Also, while making the design, we really thought that this is how we are going to assemble this part, and this is how this part will be assembled, right? But in reality, it is not quite really that easy, and uh, it took us around more than 1 month to develop that one 3D printer. Then we decided to make some changes in the design, like putting the tolerance in the parts where it was required, and removing the parts where it was not required, right? And then after that, after the successful development of the innovator, we moved on to the same style 3D printer, but that was a bit bigger in the size. That was 3 Dexter DexBot, which has printable dimension as 200 mm cube. So at first, like, you all must be thinking that we should not have been getting any issues, because we were already making the similar style 3D printer, right? But just so that you should know, we really didn't face many of the problems, but one problem was there. That was the build plate. Okay, as you can see, this build plate is overhanging, and because we have already increased the printing size, the weight of the print bed or the this build platform increased twofold, and it started bending down because of that. So we had to discontinue this design. There was also one more reason that we discontinued this design, was that the body of the frame. The 3D printer frame was made up of MDF board, and the previous one also. Therefore, whenever we are shipping the machine to a bit farther place via a courier, sometimes the frame of the printer gets some cracks, okay, which makes the printer not usable, right? So we knew the issues of the MDF machines. So what we did was we started moving on to the new machine, which has an endoskeleton of aluminum extrusions. As you can see in these images, so this is the aluminum extrusions that were made using the this is the frame that were made using the aluminum extrusion, and then on top of it we installed these acrylic plates, and after that we got this whole new machine. All right, so this printer is called 3 Dexter DexBot Pro. This printer was made using the aluminum extrusion, and the guiding mechanism was of industrial grade linear guide rails. It has a build volume of 200 mm cube, and it also has a heated bed. But you can see in the previous these two printers, there are no heated bed. But yes, in this printer we have installed a heated bed so that you can print more materials than we were able to print previously. Okay, but here also we faced one very big problem, and that problem was the printing quality was not up to the mark. Even though we were using the sheet metal bed for holding the wet plate in place so that it won't get sagged up after using it for the some of the after using for long time. Also, we got to know that we were not able, like we really cannot use those.
Rahul sir,
Yeah,
Rahul sir,
yeah, yeah.
sorry for disturbing you. Sir, can you please just move that Google Meet is sharing your screen? Our participants are requesting, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir, that line. Okay, sir, thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you. All right. So I was saying that like we were not able to sell this printer because like yes, one more thing, like I was saying that we were not, the quality was of the printer was not up to the mark, right? Because we even after we using that linear guide, industrial grade linear smooth linear guides, we were not able to get the quality. Why? Because we really got to know that the smooth linear guide rails that we were using, we cannot use them. What we have to use is the preloaded linear guide rails, okay, which has a small load applied, already applied to the guide, and it doesn't move very smoothly, okay, so that there are no, or you can say there are almost zero vibrations while the movements are there. All right. So now after that, after like putting all of these things, we got to know that we cannot really sell these machines. So now I have a question for the audience. What could be the reason here? Like, uh, even though we have used the linear guide rails, and after using the linear, like the loaded guide rails, we were able to get the perfect quality and the perfect things, like the machine was able to print in the very good quality, right? So everything was like done, right? After that, after all of these things, everything was done. So what could be the reason, like we were not able to sell the printer? Please use the meeting chat box to write. I can also see it. Okay, yeah, please write it down. The question is, even after we using the good quality rails, uh, even after making the printer look very good, everything was good, but we were not able to sell that printer. What could be the reason? Okay, yes, yes, the real reason was the cost of the 3D printer. Exactly, Mr. Himan. So the cost of the 3D printer that at which we made this pen printer, what happened was, in that cost that we really put in all our money, was actually equal to the cost, or if you can say price of the printer that you can find online or in the market. So we had to drop the idea. Okay, so we had to drop the idea of making this kind of a printer, and that first printer is at our own place. After that, we moved towards the making of the 3D printer using the sheet metal, as the sheet metal printer won't be needing any exoskeleton first, so that the cost can be reduced. And the other thing is, if we are getting it bent and welded, the strength of this sheet metal printer would be much more higher than the previous one, right? The MDF one was getting break, and the aluminum extrusion one with the acrylic was very costly. So we had to think of both the things, and then we came up with this design, which is 3 Dexter Dexbot Plus. Okay. So, but do you really think that we were able to go or make it in one go? Because till now, we are able to make the 3D printer in one go, and we just needed to make some changes in the second design if it is required. But the 3D printer was made no matter what. So please use the meeting chat box to reply, like whether we were able, like what do you think, if we were able to make it, or make it able to do it or not, right? In the one go. I'm waiting for the answer. What do you think? Like, were we able to make the design in the one go or not? Or okay, no, exactly. The answer really is no. This time we had to throw the whole thing into the garage because, and we had to start one like all over again because there are so many reasons for that. First is the reason is the tolerancing. We really did not give enough the tolerance because we thought everything will be dead perfect, and then due to this we were not able to assemble the part of the frame because everything was not getting fit because of the just because of the tolerance. Again, one thing, we also have to compensate the bending tolerance in the design only because there is no way that all the bendings that you are getting done outside will be of a same or exact size, and because of that we couldn't complete our first design. At last, we were not like there were some small bending issues and welding issues as well. The issues that the person was not able to fix the correct plate at the fixed correct place, and he was not able to like find the correct bending sizes, right? So these are the some of the things that we think of. Okay, now yes, now did we like now how did we come to the design that we have currently? One thing is that we all have to remember we need to continuously change our design because as soon as you change one of your vendors, there will be some minor differences in the dimensions in the parts that you are going to receive, and sometimes some parts are not available in that area and you might have to use some different parts. Okay, so be ready for those changes as well. Also, some assembly factors are always there because sometimes if you want to increase the speed of the manufacturing of a 3D printer, okay, you must like what you need to what you should do is always make sure that almost everything is easily accessible in the design of the 3D printer, okay, while you are designing it. So let's talk about how do we develop a 3D printer, right? So I would like to ask the audience one more time, what is the first thing that you can think of while we are making a design? Or what is that one first step that we should do while we are making our own 3D printer? Okay, I have got one answer, material. Okay, that's great. Anything else? Exactly, budget and final product, cost. Perfect. All right. So Mr. Hemant is really giving very good answers. So Mr. Hemant, you're actually right. First of all, what we need to do is we need to think of the budget of the 3D printer. Okay, we need to decide the budget at which we want to or at what cost we are going to make the 3D printer, right? So after that, after you have decided how much money I want to put in the making of the 3D printer, after that we need to select the mechanism that we want to use. Okay, so after selecting the mechanism,
Ragul sir, I think your mic in mute set. Sir, Rahul sir.
Sir, Rahul sir, it's not audible, sir.
Yeah, hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, sorry for that. Okay. Is it audible now?
Yes, sir, it's audible. It's audible.
Okay, thank you for the heads up. Okay, let me just turn on the presentation one more. Okay, so we were at the budget. So first, what we need to do is we need to decide the budget of the 3D printer. How much money I want to put in making the 3D printer. After that, we need to select the mechanism of the 3D printer. So according to our budget, only we can choose the mechanism, right? For example, if you want to build the cheapest 3D printer, then you can go with the Prusa style 3D printer. And then if you want to make up the printer which has some good functionality and you want to make it look a bit professional, so you can either choose MakerBot style, Ultimaker style, or the Core XY style. And if you want to make a professional 3D printer, then what you can do is you can go with the Core XY mechanism using the guide rail. Also, you can always use Delta printer. And in Delta printers, if you are putting less money, then what you can do is you can go with the normal style arms. And we want to put a bit more of the functionality. Sorry, I didn't catch you.
Sir, the slide is not getting changed. It's in the same slide.
Yeah.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Yeah, it is in the same slide. You can see the Delta is over here.
Yeah, okay, sir. Okay, sir. Yeah, okay. Confused.
Okay, it's okay. So yes, if you want to go with the Delta, so what you can actually do is you can, there is one more thing. In the Delta printers, we must have discussed in the first session. So there are arms, right, in the mechanism. There are arms. So there are two types of arms. One is the normal arms, other is the magnetic type arms. So if you want to make the head changeable and you want to make it look a bit cooler, then you can use the magnetic arms, but those are going to cost you a bit more than the normal regular arms, right? So this is how we need to select the mechanism according to the budget that we have decided. All right. After that, we need to decide the printing area or the printing size. Now, according to the size that we want, we need to choose the heated bed. Now, there is a catch over here. We can only choose the heated bed from the available ones because this part is actually a standard part. Also, we need to find and source all the standard parts available, all the standard available items for making of the 3D printer, like hot end, extruder, threaded rods, smooth rods, bearings, etc. Okay, you need to find the normal standard parts that you can find. Okay, and after that you have decided the mechanism, found all the required parts, then we can start with the designing of the 3D printer. Because before making anything, we first need to make its blueprint so that we can always know what goes where, right? So first of all, we need to start with the mechanism of the 3D printer, and here we have to make everything, right? From the hot end, from the belt to the motors and pulleys. Okay, we need to install everything. Everything means everything. Then move around all the parts and make sure that you are able to achieve the build area that you want to achieve. Okay, so what you can do is you can actually make one square or a rectangle of the required printable area, and around that start building your whole design. After you have made the mechanism, now you need to make the structural frame of the printer, and then first install the mechanism into the frame and provide the holes and slot for the mechanism to hold everything into the place. Now, after that, just install the belt plate or the bed plate or the build platform in the printer frame and make sure that you are making the changes accordingly. Okay, and what you need to do is you need to make the changes according to the required dimensions that you want. Okay, for example, if you want to make like height as 200 mm, then what you can do is you can add from the tip of the nozzle to the bottom of the printer, add 200 mm, and what you can do is you can, or you should do is you should always leave 5 to 10 mm extra in every direction, because extra is always better than the less, right? And after you have all done all of these, make sure that you are using some slots instead of the plain holes. Wherever you think you might need some small adjustments, so what you need to do is you need to assemble or make everything in the assembling part. Okay, while you are doing the assembly, make and assemble everything, whether it is a small screw or a extruder or everything that you want to. You need to make sure that everything is in the printer design. All right. Also, please make sure that always try to find some standard parts that you can find, because if there are some standard parts that are available, then you can always replace them. If some of the changes are required or some part goes wrong, then you can easily replace them. Also, what you can always do is you can always 3D print some of the parts that you are not able to find online or in the market. Okay, so what you can do is you can 3D print them and change them. All right. Also, make sure that there are some holes that are actually required for the assembly, like holes for the Allen key for reaching the correct place, and there should be some slots instead of plain holes, just to fix two bend sheets or some parts together, right? Because you might be needing some of the tolerances for that, right? And most important thing, we need to do is we need to always give the tolerances. Like I am really giving you some insights of it, because we have like done this in 2-3 times, and we have really got a burst results in 2-3 times, and this is why I am like putting some of the like pressure on this. Like always give tolerances, and if you are using a 3D printable part, then make sure that there are almost no to minimal supports, and even if there are some supports, that what you can do is then you can like those supports should be easily accessible and removable. Okay, and last but not least, extra is always better than less. This can be applied everywhere, whether you talk about tolerances, slot size, extra hole size, extra build plate size, everything, right? So extra is always better than less. Okay, so now let me show you our design. Okay, let me show you our 3D printer design. Okay, so this is one of the 3D printer that we have designed. You can see it over here. So you can see it has got so many parts, right? It has got so many bolts and nuts and bolts as well. In the frame only, you can see like it has got everything. Now you can see it even has got these springs, okay, which are required for the bed plate to adjust, right? So why did I make everything over here? Because like if I don't make anything, or if I miss anything, there is a slight chance that it's not going to fix. Okay, so you can see, I'll just show you how much tolerances I have put. Okay, so you can see this is one of the plate that I am install like that we install in the printer. This plate, right? This is the mechanism plate, and this is the other mechanism plate. Okay, sorry, I got a call. Yeah, so now you can see this is one of the plates that we are always installing. Now, if you see it from the top, front, I'll just show it to you. Just a sec. Yes. Now you can see we have got some tolerances over here and some tolerance over here. How much tolerance we have given? Almost 3 mm, right? You can see it over here. Like from this surface to this surface, we have got 3 mm of the tolerance. So in total, we have provided 6 mm of the tolerance. So this part is almost 6 mm smaller than the this whole build plate or the whole frame. Why? Because if you have this one metallic plate and there are some, like say 1 or 2 mm differences over here, then what happens is, like whenever you're installing this plate from the bottom, what happens is this plate is not going to go inside. Okay, if you try to insert it from the front, and it should be like in this manner, like in a slant manner, and then if you try to make it straight, it's not going to be straight. So for that, what we have done is we have provided a bit more extra tolerance, or you can say a bit more extra clearance for the part to move around. Okay, and after that, you can see we have provided various screws to install this plate, right? And you can see, like in the front also we have got one screw. This is how we are installing this plate. Similarly, for the placement of this plate, we have 3 screws, right? According to these 3 screws, everything will be set. All right. After that, you can see this plate. This plate is also having some like these 2 screws are for the placement, and you can see just for the strength purposes, we have got 4 more screws, right? 1, 2, 3, 4 more screws. And here you can see in the inside plate, we have installed a slot. Why? Just to make sure that these bolts can be installed easily. Because sometimes what happens is, as you can see, we have got one parting line at the back. Okay, this is where this whole sheet metal bed, or you can say, I will just show it to you. This sheet metal frame, I'll just show. This is the sheet metal frame that I am talking about. You can see here, this bed will be this frame will be like this. Okay, let me just flatten this up. Yes, so this is how this printer bed or the printer frame will be cut, and after that, according to these lines that you can see, we are going to fold this. Okay, after folding, you can see this thing. After folding, you can get this seam over here, and onto this seam we are going to weld. Okay, after welding, you can really think that there are like so many these bendings are involved. One welding is also involved. So after all these operations that are required, what actually happens is, all the things after we have done, it's not going to fix, because if we are not giving the like adequate tolerances, they are not going to fix. Okay, after that, you can see what we have is the printer bed. Okay, so first we installed the this frame. After that, we installed the bottom plate. Okay, you can see this is the bottom plate. After installing these 2 things, we installed the frame. Okay, you can see these not the frame, we installed the mechanism. You can see these parts are required in the mechanism. Okay, after installing the mechanism, we move on to the bed plate of the printer. Okay, you can see these are the things that we do. Like first, we need to design the mechanism. First of all, after designing the mechanism, we design the frame. After designing the mechanism and the frame, we install the mechanism into the frame and we fix it. Okay, accordingly, we need to fix some of the bolts, some of the idler pulleys, and all the other things that are required. We'll install them, and after that, what we'll do, we'll move on to the installation of the bed plate. Okay, after the bed plate is installed, we install the hot end over here. Then we measure the maximum bounds of the printer. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll try to move it down as far as we can. Okay, then we measure the size from the tip of the this printer to the top of the build plate. Okay, and for your knowledge only, this distance should be more than the required dimension. Okay. After that, you can see I have got this very much big hole over here, which is a slot. Why a slot? Because you can see this bed plate is going to move up and down, and accordingly there are some springs over here. But what we really need to fix is the end stop over here. Like you must have noticed the part end stop in the electronics section where Shubham was talking about NC and NO. So end stop really tells about the minimum or the maximum position of the printer. And here, this end stop is going to be touched by this plate, this small plate. Right? So what happens is you are going to move this thing up, and here there will be a small end stop, and that end stop is going to be touched by the plate, which you can see, right? So similarly, what happens is, like, if there are some deviations in the design, then if you make it fixed, then it's not going to move. Okay. So accordingly, what we need to do is we need to make a slot so that we can move it up and down in a very small manner, and then we can get a perfect design or the perfect calibration that we want. Okay. Sometimes what happens is, like, there are some changes in the hot end design as well. Sometimes the hot end that you purchase from the online or the person that you always purchase from, the hot end is shorter or the hot end is longer. So if the hot end is longer and you have actually fixed this thing, then what you need to do is you need to move this down if the hot end is longer, and if the hot end is shorter, then you have to move it a bit upward. All right, so that this bed can actually reach the hot end nozzle. Okay. Accordingly, what we need to do is we need to design the mechanism. In the mechanism also, we have, like, you can see these parts. These parts are the non-standard parts that we have made, and we actually 3D print these parts. Okay, you can this part, and all these parts are actually 3D printable. And you can see this part has got some changes away. Like you can see this part is in the 2 parts. Okay, so that you can actually access the hello, am I audible? Yeah. So yes, so we can actually access the supports, right? I was talking about the supports now. So you can actually access the support so that these slots, like after you have installed and make all the parts, what we need to do is after printing, we need to remove the support. So after printing, so what we have done is we have cut this part into 2 parts, and then we are assembling them using the bolt. Okay, you can see I have also made the bolt. Okay, after that, what you really need to do is you need to install the board as well. Okay, I'll just show it to you. Like we have already installed the board. Okay, in this part, actually I have not installed it. Like it must be hidden. Let me just turn it on. Yeah, so what we need to do is we need to install the board as well, because what we have to do, we have to fix this hole. This hole is the port access hole for the board. So according to the design that we have, we need to fix the board. Okay, so for the board, we have made these 4 holes, because in this printer we are actually using the MKS board, and it has got only 4 holes for the installation. Similarly, you can see in this design we have touchscreen LCD. So for that also we have to like make all the things, and here also you can see I have made a covering for that touchscreen LCD. Okay, and for the wire we have got 1 slot. Okay, now accordingly what we need to do is we need to I'll just show you one more design in the same thing. This design is of the touchscreen printer. I'll just show you the design of the normal printer that we make. Okay, so this is the design of the normal printer that we have. You can see it has got the LCD, and for the knob and all these other things we have got these different screws. And now you can see these holes, right? These holes are actually for the placement of the bottom plate. Okay, so this bottom plate, we are not actually like assembling this bottom plate using the nuts and bolts. What we actually do is we actually get this bottom plate assembled at the manufacturer's place. Okay, so we get it manufactured outside of our facility, but yes, in the India only. So what we do is we give the design to the person. He actually laser cuts the file and bends and welds all the different parts. Okay, not all the different parts, some of the parts. For example, this bottom plate and this frame is welded, and apart from these, all the other parts are being assembled at the place. So what we do is, you can see here, what we have to do is we have to install these two plates. Okay, so I was talking about the first failure that we made. In the first failure, these holes were not provided, so the person was not able to understand how to measure the distance between the, or how do we actually measure or fix this plate. Okay, so what we did was we actually provided these 6 holes, and now in these 6 holes, what the person can do is he can insert some small rods and then he can weld. Okay, and he can also use these holes to weld. Okay, so after making all the changes, we have reached to this place. Now you can see here also for the bottom plate assembly, we have given some slots. Okay, this is the slot that you can see. This slot is for this the bottom plate, because what happens is, like, sometimes there are some slight changes in the bending, because no matter what you do, there are always going to remain some of the changes, or the you can say some deviations in the tolerances of the person that is bending. Okay, so accordingly we need to make changes in our design so that we can compensate with those changes that are happening. Okay, so these are the things that you always remember, that you should always remember while making a design of a 3D printer. One more thing that I would like to mention is, you can see I have installed everything. You can see, like, these acrylic parts that we install, or you can say motors, or the plate, or even the small plate which is for the logo placement. Okay, this is the logo which is already cut in the printer, but yes, for the just so that this is closed from the back side, we have installed a plate, so that too also be installed. Okay, and you must have noticed that all the bolts and everything is already installed, because it is actually required, right? Now you can see these doors are also installed, and this door is basically for the like, so that the printer is closed and no one can access it while it is printing, and you need to close the 3D printer while you are printing a ABS material. So we have got these type of things. Okay, so now let me just show you all the designs that we have made till now. Okay, I'll just show you the designs of the printer and the advancements that we have made. Okay, after that we'll move on to the how do we configure the 3D printer firmware. Okay, so yes, first thing is the DexBot Plus printer. It has got the 200 mm size and all the things that you can read over here. So after that, you can see in the second printer there are going to be some changes. Okay, we'll focus on those changes. Okay, so I guess you must have read out all the things. Now in this printer, you can see the first change is the full touch screen or LCD, which is 3.5 mm inch. Okay, after that you can see it has got power cut print resume capability. Okay, this is the feature that we have added after doing some research. After that, you can see auto, like, board and extruder and auto, and it has got board and extruder. With the previous printer can also have a board, like, is also having a board and extruder, and it has got the auto bed leveling feature. Okay, so you don't need to level the bed while you are printing. The printer bed will automatically be leveled. After that, you can see in this DexBot Mega, you have got the bigger build volume. It has got now 310 by 305 mm cube. Similarly, It has got the 3.5 mm LCD. Power cut regime is also over here. Also, one more thing is there is fully supported bed. Here you can see the bed plate is fixed using the 3 rods at the back. So as this printer is a bit small, okay, it can only print 200 mm size, or in other words, it can only print 20 centimeter size. So if you're talking about the bigger printer, it can print up to 310 mm size, which means 1 feet size. Okay, and if you take a slab of aluminum of this size, it's going to weigh a lot. Okay, so it has got the aluminum bed plate, and this bed plate is made up of metal. So if you're going to fix this only using the 3 rods, it's not going to hold up. Okay, it's going to slack down from one side. So for that, what we do is we have installed 3 rods on the left side and 3 more rods on the right side. Okay, you won't be able to see it here over here. Okay, so accordingly, what happens is we have got the fully supported bed. So for the better placement of the bed, okay, and it is a bit smoother on the side, or it's better on the smoother side. Okay, then here also we can get the fully closed body, and a Bowden extruder is over here. One more thing which is available over here is dual extruder. So you can see this printer is a bit bigger, so we can install 2 spools at the back, and we can provide one more extra hot end, okay, and one more extra extruder. Therefore you can actually use 2 dual extruder printer as a, like in this printer you can actually use dual extruder. Similarly, in the bigger printer, you can see it has got a bit more bigger size. Similarly, the LCD is in the only constant side. But yes, here what you can have is either a Bowden extruder or a direct extruder. Also, you can see in this printer we have got the industrial grade linear guide rail, and the printer frame is made up of the aluminum extrusions that I was talking about. Okay, which was on the like second printer that we made. Okay, so this is the extension of that second printer that we made. Okay, and we can also get the auto bed leveling in this printer. This is the biggest printer that we have. In this printer, you can see the LCD size is a bit bigger. I mistakenly write 3.5. It is actually 7 inches LCD. But one more thing that you always need to remember is we in these 3 printers we are using the simply supported bed, because for the better stability. Okay, so whenever you are making a small printer, you can always go with the cantilever type bed, but yes, make sure that bed is not getting bent. Okay, after that, if you're going for the bigger printer, always go with the simply supported side, because it is going to slack down if you are going to put a bit of force or a bit of weight onto the bed plate. Okay, maybe the bed plate will go down like automatically whenever you are printing. This can happen, so please make sure that you are keeping all these points in mind while making a new printer. Similarly, in this printer you can see like we have got one bigger LCD, because this printer is a bit bigger on the bigger side, and if you are installing a very small LCD onto it, it's not going to look good. Okay, so this is why we are using a bit bigger LCD, and you can print up to 500 size object into this. All right, so let's talk about the firmware. Okay, so what is a firmware actually? Like, can anyone tell me about this? Like, we must have discussed this thing in the last session. So what could be the firmware?
Security.
You may use the meeting chat box to write. Security, okay. Anything else? connectivity. Okay. Exactly. Mr. Man Patel has given the correct answer. Firmware is a piece of software runs on control boards to convert G code into the movement command. Okay. So this is the actual, like you can say, the definition of the firmware. But yes, how do we configure the firmware according to the design that we have made or according to the printer that we have made? Okay. So let's talk about how do we first download the firmware. Okay. What you can do is you can always go to this website, marlinfw.org, meta download, or you can directly go to Google and search Marlin firmware. Okay. As soon as you search Marlin firmware, you will be getting this website. And here you can see there is a download button. You can download it from here. Okay. You can download it from this website, which is GitHub. Okay. As soon as you click on this, you will get this. Okay. So now if you want to download this thing, you can directly go to over here and download this. Okay. So you must be able to see there are two things. First is this above thing, and this is the nightly build. Okay. So in the controller board, we have discussed like there are two types of boards. One is the AVR type and ARM, and another is the ARM type. Okay. So if you're using a board which is Arduino based, okay, then you should always use this firmware, which is at the top. And you are using the 32-bit firmware, or if you are using a 32-bit controller board, then always use these builds, nightly build. Okay. So normal boards use this one, and for the other boards, 32-bit boards, use this one. You can download the firmware from here, and as soon as you click, you will get this file and you can download it. Okay, I'll just download it from here. Okay, as soon as you download it, you will be getting a file which is of this size. Okay, this is a zip file. As soon as you download it, let me just download it once more, and I'll just configure it in front of you, so that you can also know like how do we actually install and download. Like the firmware has been downloaded. Now what we need to do is we need to download the software which we are going to use for the configuration of this firmware. Okay, if you're using Arduino board or the MKS board, okay, or any board which is used or which is using Arduino based thing, so you can always need to find Arduino IDE software. As soon as you search, you can get this thing, and if you click on this thing, you will get this. Okay, and then here you can download it according to your Windows. Okay, if you're using Windows 7, you can download it from here. If you're using Windows 8.1 or 10, you can get it from here. Okay, and if you're using Linux, then from here, and Mac from here. Now what we have is we have downloaded the firmware, we have downloaded the software. Now what we need to do is we need to configure the firmware, right? Let me just close the design. Okay, so I have downloaded the firmware, which is let me just open it. Yes, so this is the configuration release that I have. So what I need to do is I need to first extract this. Okay, let me just extract it over here. Okay, now let's configure it. So for the configuration, what you need to do is you need to open the config file, and what you can do is what you can do is you can either go to the examples. Here you can find there are so many printers that are already available. Okay, for example, if you have a 3D Fabex XYZ, you can open this thing, and you can directly copy these files. Okay, and if you have like these are the default configurations, and also if you have got other files like Felix file or any other thing, you can directly download or install it from here. Okay, so this is how you like open the file. Okay, now let me just open the previous firmware that I have, in which I have to make some changes. Okay, let me just open. Okay, this is the original firmware that I have. Now what you need to do is you need to go to the config file, config thing. Not in the config, you need to go to the Marlin, In the Marlin, you need to click and search the marlin.ino file. Here you can see it is a Arduino type file. Okay, just double click on this. Okay, now you can see you have got this code. Okay, this is actually the like resources onto which you can actually find the things, and if you want to learn. Okay, this is the configuration. It is a good 20-minute overview video. Okay, you can like click over here and go to the link and watch the video. But yes, what you can also do is you can also like configure the file according to the things. So let me just tell you what all things you need to configure while you are making a firmware. Okay, so first thing is the like these are like you don't have what you need to remember is like these are the things. Okay, these things is like you need to there is no need to change all these things. What you need to do is you need to go down and go to this thing. Okay, this is the serial port. Okay, so what is a serial port? Whenever we are connecting anything from to a computer through a USB port. Okay, so what actually happens is it already like as soon as you have installed something onto the printer or onto your laptop, it is going to give it a port. Okay, that port is defined by this serial port. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to first select the port from here. Like if you have installed a Arduino Mega board with your printer, sorry, with your computer, not the printer. If you are installed or yes, if you are connecting a Arduino Mega board with your computer, then you will be able to find Arduino Mega into the port. Similarly, before that, you need to select the boards first. Okay, first is the like what we need to do is we need to like select the AVR board, that is the Arduino Mega 2560. Make sure that like in the printer only you can only use Arduino Mega 2560. All the other boards are for the programming the other things, not for the printer. Similarly, you need to select the processor. Okay, in the Arduino Mega 2560, you will be getting Atmega 2560. So just remember, in the AVR board, select the Arduino Mega 2560, and in the processor, select Atmega 2560. After that, you will be able to find the board onto the port. Okay, currently I am not able, like I haven't connected any board. This is why this thing is disabled. Otherwise, I would have got it. Okay. Then, like please don't change this thing. Okay, it should be 0 because you're connecting this port to the single port, right? If you have 2-3 boards connected directly to your computer, then you need to change this serial port. But that is not the case. So we need to there is no need to make changes. Okay. Then baud rate. So what is the baud rate? Baud rate is the speed of the data transfer from the computer to the like to your board, and whenever you are connecting any other peripherals, the data transfer speed is called the baud rate. So what happens is like whenever you are having the touchscreen printers, okay, for example, the printer that we had was one printer that we had was having a touchscreen printer, and other was the normal printer. So if you are having the baud rate as 25 lakhs, sorry, 25,000 or 250,000. Okay, so if you have this baud rate to 250,000, then you need to make sure that the LCD is also having the same baud rate. If the baud rate are not correct, then it's not going to transfer the data. Similarly, you can see in this thing, you need to define the motherboard. Okay, what motherboard you are using. Okay, in the layers of the 3D printer board, first board was the Arduino Mega, other board was the RAM. Okay, so in the RAM, we have got 2-3 types of boards. So we need to like give the type of the motherboard that we are using. Okay, so let me just show you how do we configure or how do we check what board we have. Okay, so in this thing, what you need to do is you need to go to the this button. Okay, you can go you can go to the docs or docs. You need to find the boards file. Okay. Okay, this is the boards.h file. I'll just open it with the Marlin so that we can also see the boards. Okay, now we can see the boards. Okay, so first board that we have is the RAMS board 13EFB. So this is the RAMS 1.3 port, but the RAMS board that we were using was the RAMS 1.4 board. So what we need to do is we need to select either of these boards. So first is hot end fan bed. Other is the hot end 1 and bed. Other is the hot end fan and fan. Okay, so according to the like configurations that we are going to have onto the printer, we need to select the board. So for example, if you are using 2 hot ends and a heated bed, then you need to use this board, okay, which is board RAMS 14 EEB. And if you're using hot end, fan and bed, then board RAMS 14 EFB. Okay. Also, if you're using a spindle instead of the nozzle, then you need to use this thing. All right. So according to the mechanism and the configuration that you have in your printer, you need to select the board. Okay. After you have selected the board, what you need to do is, like, for example, you need this board RAMS EFB. You have only one hot end, you have got only one fan, and other is the heated bed. So just copy, okay, just copy this thing, this board name, and then replace it with the board name over here, this board, okay, just replace it. It is actually the same, so it's not going to show any difference. Then in the LCD screen, whenever you're running on a printer, you must be able to see a ready command, okay, like this 3D printer is ready or company name ready. Okay, so for that, what you need to do is you need to define this thing. Okay, so how do we define and de-define is, you can see there are 2 colons, okay, or forward slashes. So you need to remove these 2 forward slashes to make this thing or make this setting enable. And if you reapply them, this setting is disabled. Okay, this is the commenting on the Arduino platform. So I have decommented it. Now, whenever I am installing this firmware into the LCD, after the flashing and after the printer has like turned on, you will be able to see 3D printer ready message. Now, if I want to make this thing in this way, okay, if I want to make, okay, like let me just take a name, okay, name ready. So now what will happen is the printer will show this thing, name ready, after you have turned on the printer, okay, and it is ready for the operation. So you can put any name over here, okay. You can also put 3D printer, okay, or you can also use 3D machine, okay, 3D machine ready. Now after that, you need to define the number of extruders. For example, if you are using EEB, like extruder bed, yes, here instead of EFB, extruder fan bed, if you are using extruder bed, then you need to give the number of the extruders that you are having. In this case, you must be having 2 extruders, but generally everyone has only one extruder. And now you need to give the filament diameter that you are going to use. Okay, there are 3 types of filaments that are available online, and there are standard, that is 1.75, 2.85 and 3.0. So generally, if you are making a 3D printer, at your own place, then you must be using 1.75 or 2.85 mm filament diameter. So accordingly, I have to change the filament diameter over here. Now you like what you can see is this thing, define single nozzle. Okay, so there are two types of hot end available. If you're using two extruders, okay, if you have got two extruders, then there are two types of hot end available. One is the 2 in 2 out and other is the 2 in 1 out. Okay, so in 2 in 2 out, what happens is like there are actually two nozzles attached to the hot end, and there are two extruders which are pushing the material, and simultaneously one of the nozzle will be printing, other will be on this on the halt, and other will be printing and the first one will be on the halt. So now there are other type of hot end is also available which has got only one nozzle, but that one nozzle can print using the both extruder. So what happens is while one of the extruder is print or extruding or printing, the other extruder will not push. Okay, but whenever the other extruder is pushing, the first extruder will not push. Just like we have got that function in multicolor pen, na? That is the same thing which happens over here in the single nozzle. So if you have got that thing, just define it. Otherwise, leave it as is. Okay, there is no need to change all these settings. Let's just directly move on to the setting that is actually required. Okay, that is the thermal setting. Okay, so now what is the thermal setting mean? Like we need to find or give the actual thermocouple settings. Okay, for example, if what type of thermistor that you are using. Okay, so this thing or this data you will be getting from the manufacturer from which you are getting this hot end. Okay, for example, most of the thermistors that we use is this thing, 100K thermistor. Okay, normal EPCOS 100K thermistor or 4.7K full up. So this thermistor is number 1. You can see there are numbers assigned to each of the hot end. Thermistor. You need to find this thing. Okay, this thermistor number is 1. Just go to the temperature sensor type and type your number. Okay, for example, you are using only one extruder, so type 1 over here. And if you have got two extruders over here, like let me just show it to you. Here, if the number of extruders are 2, then what you need to do is you need to give the number of this, and the number of nozzles are 2, then you need to give the number here also. Okay, this temperature sensor 1 is for the hot end 1, this is for hot end 2. Okay, and if you have got only one nozzle, use 1. If you have got two nozzles, use here as well. Okay, this is for the heated bed and this is for the heated chamber. If you're using heated bed, just give 1. Otherwise, leave it as is. Okay, let's move down. And now here you can see these are the below and maximum temperature. So as this is the minimum temperature of this thermistor that it can achieve. Okay, so 5 is the minimum temperature that it can sense, and 275 is the maximum temperature it can sense. Okay, if you want to and if you have got a better type of thermistor and that can sense up to 500 degrees Celsius, so you need to make this 500 if you have got that. Okay, and if you have got if you have the same thermistor that I was talking about, 4.7K pull up or 100K thermistor, just leave it as. Okay, then let's move down. Then you can see one thing, that is prevent cold extrusion. Okay, and the maximum extrude length. So this prevent cold extrusion means at what temperature the extruder should stop extruding. Okay, for example, sometimes what happens is there are some as you can see there are sometimes some sometimes some temperature drops in the hot end. Okay, if that temperature drops, drops below 170 degree, then the extruder or the motor which is extruding the or pushing the material inside of the hot end stops moving. This is that temperature. Okay. So for PLA, 170 is good. And for if you are using only ABS and you're planning to use only and only ABS, then you need to make increase the temperature to 200. But yes, the printer will be or should be able to print different materials. So this is why we have given this as 170 degrees. Okay. Then other thing that we have is prevent lengthy extrude. What is the meaning of this? For example, if you have got what does this setting does is like if the extrude command moves above 200 degrees, in one go, it's not going to extrude it. Okay. So similarly, what happens is if you have got say Bowden X tube, okay, in which you have to install the filament from one point to the hot end, from the extruder to the hot end, and it has got length more than 200 mm, then you need to increase this thing. Okay, for example, in our case, it remains at 700 or 750. Okay, because we are using the Bowden extruder. After that, this is the one of the most important feature, that is the thermal runaway protection. So what does this mean is sometimes, like as I was telling you about, like there are some temperature drops or the temperature elevations. Okay, so sometimes what happens is like if the hot end is heated or the heated bed is heated and suddenly the temperature drops, okay, then you will get this error, which is thermal runaway, which means the temperature has gone down or temperature has fall down. All right. Or sometimes what can happen is the thermistor is not at the correct place and it has fall down from the touching surface. Okay, so this is the error that you will get. And sometimes the heating is not occurring, then for that you will get this error message, which is heating failed. Okay, but how do we enable and disable them? Thermal protection for the hot end is enabled. Okay, if you want to disable it, do it like this. But yes, we always need the protection in the printer. But sometimes what happens is with the heated bed, if the heated bed is not able to heat in the correct time frame, okay, then you will always get this thermal runaway protection failed. Okay, or thermal runaway happened with the heated bed. In that case, you might have to disable this. Also, we are not using the chamber, so we should always turn off this. Okay, so in the heated bed case, if the heated bed is not able to heat the bed at a correct pace, then you might have to disable this thing. Otherwise, you should remain like leave this enabled. But if you are not using the chamber, you should always disable it. Then the mechanical settings. Okay, so as we were talking about the core XY, core YZ, core and core ZX. Okay, so accordingly we have got these things. Okay, so what does this thing? In core XY, whenever you're moving only one motor, the movement will be occurring in a diagonal motion. Okay, and if you move two motors simultaneously, either left right or front to back motion will happen. So how do we configure it? Using these things. Okay, if what you need to do is you will have to test it out. Okay, either core XY will be working on your case or YZ, YX should be working. Okay, but yes, if you are using any other configuration like XZ, YZ, then you can always use it. Okay, so according to the settings that or the mechanism that you have, you need to choose this. If you are not using any of the core XY or core YZ, then leave it as is. Okay, then end stop settings. First of all, what we need to do is we need to configure which end stop we are using. Generally, everyone uses X-min plug, Y-min plug, or Z-min plug, or the minimum setting. So this the company who is actually the Marlin persons, what they have done is they have actually turned on the minimum end plugs. But if you are using any of the maximum plugs, for example, in the Y axis, if you are using the maximum plug, then you need to turn this on. Okay, otherwise leave it as is. Okay, generally what we do is we always use the minimum, so it is turned on. If you are not using minimum, either you have to use the minimum or the maximum. You can use either of it or both of them, but yes, you have to enable and disable according to the configuration that you have. Okay, and similarly, let's go down. Okay, this is the one of the things that is actually required. Okay, so this is the end stops. There are two types of end stop: normally closed and normally open. NC and NO. In the first session, in the second session that we must have discussed about these things. Okay, so if the NC is the normally closed is your end stop, then use false. Otherwise, use true. Okay, according to the logic that you have to change the command. Okay, either it should be false or it should be true. So in the case of NC, which is normally closed, we need to make it false. Okay. Other is the extruder, stepper driver that we are using. Okay. So what stepper driver you are using, you need to give the command. Okay, or the you need to change it. Okay. So for example, if you are using A4988, the name of the A4988 extruder, this driver is A4988. Accordingly, you need to find this. Okay. So you can see A4988 has A4988. This thing has this thing. So almost the name of the driver is the name driver type. Okay. So like in our case, we are using A4988. So we'll just turn on this. Okay. We are not using X2, Y2, Z2, Z3, E0. Yes, we are using E0 because we have got one extruder, right? So X, Y, Z, and extruder. For that, I have enabled them, and the rest you can leave it as is. After that, you can move down to this thing. Okay, this thing is the threshold number of the like this thing. There is no need to enable or disable it. Let's move on to the movement setting. In the movement setting, you can see you have got one very important thing, that is steps. So how do we calculate the steps? You must have remember that Mr. Prem has already told you about the steps calculation and all the things. So according to the steps that you have calculated, you need to insert these steps. For example, in our printer, 80 and 80 at 80 for X, 80 for Y works perfectly fine. But yes, for the Z axis, we need to change it to 395 because the lead of the extruder or the threaded rod that we have is 8 mm. So accordingly, we need to change it. Similarly, we need to change it for the extruder as well. 100 steps per mm is the one thing that we have to do. Okay, so this is for our case. In your case, it is going to be different. Okay, so don't remember the thing, just remember where to change it. Similarly, default max feed rate, this actually depends on your stability of the printer. If the printer is able to able to handle the maximum feed rate, you can leave it as is. Otherwise, you can decrease it. Okay. Similarly, in our case, this acceleration, we always keep it as 1000, 1000, 100, and 10,000. So 1000 is for X, 1000 is for Y, 100 is for Z, and 10,000 is for E. Okay, these are the accelerations that we have. Okay. Similarly, we need to change the acceleration here as well. Okay, so this is the default maximum acceleration, and these are the acceleration for X, Y, Z, and E whenever they are moving in the printing moves. This is for the retract, and this is for the travel. Okay, so these are the now let's talk about the jerk. Okay, so what we have done till now is we have set the steps, we have given the acceleration value, speed rate values, we have given the acceleration values. Let's talk about the jerk. So in our case, what happens is, what we do is we like keep the jerks as the default values. Okay, like we don't change it. So the default values work perfectly fine for us. This is why we are not changing it. But yes, if the quality is not up to the mark, you need to change the jerk. Okay, if you are able to see the ringing formation, then always decrease the jerk and decrease the acceleration. Okay, let's go to the Z probe options. So yes, if you are using a probe, which is the hit like auto calibration thing. Okay, if you are using auto calibration, for that you need to define either it should be a probe or it should be a BL touch. Okay, either it is going to be a probe or a BL touch. If it is a probe, then define this thing. Okay, this is defined, like this is one thing that is always defined. But if you are using probe, then you need to define this thing. Okay, first thing is probe manually or the probe manual start, and these are the probe things. But yes, what generally everyone uses is the BL touch. If you're using BL touch, just define it. Okay, if you're not, just leave it as is. Okay, let's move on to the other section. So according to the like if you're using BL touch or probe, what you need to do, you need to give the offsets from the nozzle. Okay, so that the printer is able to understand at what place this probe is located. Okay, so if you're using this, then this needs to be changed. Otherwise, you can leave it as is. Okay. After that, let's move on to the different part. Which is the stepper direction. Okay. So now what we need to do is we need to understand what is the stepper direction. Okay. For example, if you're giving a command to the to your extruder, sorry, to your motor. Okay. If you're saying your hot end to go right, okay, but it is actually going left, and if you're going if you're saying it to go left and if it is going right, which means you need to change this thing. Okay. Similarly, if you're saying if it is going back instead of going front, and if it is going front instead of going back, you need to change this. Similarly, if it is going up instead of going down, and if it is going down instead of up, then you need to change. Okay, according to this reversal of the motor connection, you need to do this. Also, what you can also do is, if the stepper motor is going in the wrong direction, and if you're using DuPont connectors, then what you can do is you can directly plug out the motor, reverse it, and then plug it in again, so that you can understand like what exactly the issue is. Similarly, for the extruder, you need to change. Okay, so according to the functions that you have, you need to change it, right? Similarly, these are the home directions. Okay, so one thing that you always remember is in the direction in the end stops, we use we have given the pull-ups, right? Which pull-up point you're using. So if you're using minimum point, then the direction should be -1. If you're using maximum point, then it should be 1 only. Okay, so in this case we were using only minimum, so it should be -1, -1, -1. And here you can see this is the directions or the size of the print bed. Okay, so you can see like first thing is the X bed size, which is 200 right now. If you want to increase it, or you have like for example you have 310 mm printer, like let's just change it over here. Minimum size, sorry, this is the maximum size of the bed plate, 310 by 310, and this is the maximum size of the bed plate that it can go. Okay, 305. For example, if you are making it like this. Also, one more thing, in some cases the hot end of the printer goes out of the place. Okay, while homing, it is not at the tip of the bed plate. If it is at the say at the left side of the the place or the bed plate, then you need to make it give the in the minus direction. Okay, for example, the hot end is situated minus 15 degrees, sorry, minus 15 mm from the bed plate at the home position. Then you need to give the minus 15 as the direction. And if the hot end is at the more of the front side at the from the bed plate, then you need to give this thing. Okay, how do we calculate it? We need to calculate it using the move axis command in the LCD. Okay, and accordingly you can put the dimensions. Now let's move on to the other thing. Okay, so now if you are using filament runoff sensor, you can always turn it on over here, and accordingly you need to install the filament runoff sensor into the board as well. Okay, then we have got the bed leveling. If you're using any of the bed leveling options which was available above, like the BLTouch or the probe, you can change it over here. Okay, now according to the thing that you have applied over here, up like above, you can enable it. Okay, either you can enable the 3-point leveling, auto bed leveling, linear auto leveling, bilinear auto bed leveling. If you're using either of the BLTouch or either of the probe, then you should always use bilinear if you're having a square or a rectangular bed plate. Otherwise you can use 3-point. And then there is no need to change any of the settings over here. Okay, just enable any of the things that you want to enable, then just leave it and move down. Okay, just don't, like, there is no need to change. Okay, in the additional features, there are two, three things that you need to remember. Okay, in the EEPROM, so what happens is in EEPROM, if you want to change the values in the firmware and save it on the LCD only, then you can enable this thing. Okay, so using this thing, you will be getting some of the portions of this firmware onto the LCD, and using the LCD only, you can change the settings. So accordingly, what you need to do is you need to change, enable this thing. Otherwise, leave it as is. Now, one very important thing. So whenever you are preheating, giving the preheating command, okay, into the prepare option, there are preheating commands. So first thing is the preheat PLA, other is the preheat ABS. Now, if you want to change the values, okay, for example, PLA generally melts at 200 degrees Celsius. So for the PLA, preheat PLA, you can give 200 degrees as the temperature, and for ABS, the ABS generally melts at 240 or 230. Let's make it 230, and the heated bed should be around 90 degrees. I'll make it 90. Okay, so accordingly, according to the material that you are going to print, you need to change it. Okay, there is no need to change these things. No changes over here. Now, the LCD and the SD card supports. Okay, now there are different types of LCDs available. So first of all, you are going to use LCD, right? So for that, you need to give the character set that you are going to use. First of all, English is the language that you are going to use. So I have chosen EN as the language. Then there is no need to change the character, nothing. Also, the LCD will be having an SD card slot. Okay, so let's just turn it on, because using the SD card only we are going to print, right? Okay, after that, just move down. There is no need to change these things. No changes. Okay, now let's go to the LCD section. Okay, this is the LCD controller selection section. So here, what we are going to do, we are going to select the LCD that we are going to use. Okay, so for example, if you are having RipRap Discount Smart Controller, this is actually written onto the LCD, or you can get it from the manufacturer that you are getting. Okay, generally this LCD is used, so you can use it. Otherwise, if you have any other LCD, like for example, you might be having Ultimate Controller, just enable it. Okay, just enable one of the LCDs that you have, and according to the LCD that you have, you can enable it. Okay, also one more thing, you always enable Ultra LCD. Okay, If you're using any of the generic LCDs, always enable Ultra LCD and the panel that you have. Okay, so generally the panel that everyone uses is the Reprep Discount Smart Controller, and then this panel, LCD, oh sorry, Ultra LCD that you're going to use. Okay, after that, if you have select, like if the LCD that you have is available over here, then your work is done. Otherwise, you need to find the LCD from here. Okay, or from here. Okay, so now what we have done is we have selected the LCD, we have given the SD card command, and everything is done. Now this firmware is actually configured. Now there is no need to go down and see all the settings. If you want to, you can just go down and see, like only the LCDs are over here, like graphics, CFDs, other controllers. Only the LCDs are here, and this firmware is now ready to be installed into the printer. Okay, for that, first let's just verify it. And if there are some changes or some errors, it will show in this black portion. If there are some changes like errors, we can accordingly go to the file and make the changes. Okay, let's wait and see if there are any changes or not. Sorry, errors or not. It usually takes time because it is reading all the code line by line and finding all the files that are attached. Okay, you must be able to see, like these were the files that I opened, right? Not this, these, right? These are the files that I opened, like codes.h I opened. Similarly, it has got so many files. Like in the features, you can see there are so many files. So accordingly, it is going to open all the files, read all the files, and match them. Okay, let's just wait it out. Okay, so till the time, what we can do is we can also go for this question. Okay, so now if you have any questions for me or for the other presenters which were available at the last time, please let me know, like write in the chat box. Okay, till the time I am also seeing this. Please let me know if you have any questions for me or the other presenters. We'll try to answer them. Also, if you have any doubts regarding the firmware also, you can ask me.
Thank you, sir. Participants, if you have any doubt, you can ask to our chief guest, sir. And sir, so far the comments, what our participants have said, this it's only a nice presentation and great sharing, sir, like that. So they want to know your contact info, sir, regarding their future work.
Yes, yes, yes. Actually, I was like, this compilation is being done. Otherwise, I would have shown you this slide. Yeah, I have like made this thing. Like these are the contact details of our team. Like this is mine. This is more for Mr. Shubham Kalia, and this is for Mr. Prem Kumar Kanasani. And you can see there are my direct phone numbers and the email ID. You can contact to us on the email ID or on the mobile number.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Participants, if there is any query, you can ask to our sir. Sir is in line.
Participants, there are other resource persons are also available. Shubham sir and Prem Kumar sir are also available in this platform. You can ask the query to him also. Okay, if you have any queries, you can ask the till morning from to evening. Okay,
Yes, yes.
and the objective of this particular session, these 3 session are you can build your own printer. Apart from there are lot of FDPs are going on. This is fully in-depth thing. Here we are making some difference to build your own 3D printer. That is the main objective of this particular sessions. Okay, I hope all the 3 sessions will be covering up how to build the printer. Okay, regarding that you can ask any queries. There are 3 experts are there. Apart from that, one more persons from Manish Nair. He is also from 3D Xter. He is also available. So you may ask any queries. They will answer the questions. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you for sir. And now you can see this compilation has been done, and there are no errors in the firmware. Now this firmware is now can be installed into the board, and you can get the printer ready. Okay. So similarly, like if you have any questions for us, you can surely ask me. And till that time, if you want to note down my number, you can note it down.
Sir, there is one question, sir, from Vijay Radharia, sir. If I want to manage 2 head at a time, then can I? If I want to manage 2 head at a time, then can I do?
Sir, actually, what you can do is you cannot manage 2 of the heads at the time. What you can only do is you can manage, like what the thing is, in the firmware only, like there is only one option available, which is for the extruder, right? Not for the hot end. So for that, there are 2 types of hot ends available, or you can enable 2 types. That is, the first thing is that you can do is you can actually install 2 hot ends at one place. For example, one side by side. Other is that what you can do is you can, other thing what you can do is you can actually put one hot end using the, like you can use the Chimera hot end. Okay, so using that hot end, you can actually use 2 of the extruders at one time. So for 2 hot ends, if you want to manage them, so you need to fix them together, and then you can use it. Any other questions regarding this session or the other previous 2 sessions? Like we would really love to answer all the questions.
Dear participants, a few more questions and we can complete our session. So we are just waiting for your queries. Thank you very much, sir. Mithran sir, we can have the vote of thanks, sir. Right now, thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much for the morning for your entire team, sir. It has been a very nice session from the morning till now. Thank you very much, sir, for this.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
there is
I have got one question.
Yes, yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, is firmware and the OS is the same? Sir, there are 2 things. Okay, OS or the operating system is used for the computer, and firmware is the operating system of the printer. Okay, you can say yes, they are same, but operating system is almost a kind of a thing which is used with a mouse and a keyboard. But yes, you won't be able to use it with a mouse and a keyboard. But yes, almost it is same. Yeah, please stick on, sir.
Any other queries, participants, you want to ask?
Sir, if there is no any questions, shall we close the session? Yes, sir. Vijay Radharia is asking something, I think.
Mitran sir, you can start the vote of thanks, sir. Mitran sir.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Sir, 1 minute, please, sir. Sir,
Yes.
Verma sir, we have one doubt from Vijay Reddy,
And
sir.
one more thought.
Do you have any idea about multi-head 3D printer, sir? Do you have any idea about
Yeah,
multi-head
yeah.
3D printer? You can
Yes.
describe. He's asking.
Yeah, Vijay sir, what actually is like there is one printer which is made up by company Sigma 3D. It has got two heads. So what happens in that printer is like if one of the head is printing, then the other is at the halted place, and if the other is printing, then other one is at the halted place. So what happens like in this case, you won't be able to use the firmware which I have already shown you. That firmware which if you talk like if you talk about the firmware of that printer, then for that you will have to download their own firmware because they have developed it. Okay, and that is not free for all, but the firmware that I showed you is free for all. You can actually download it from the website that I showed you, and you can actually configure it according to the printer that you have. Okay, but yes, Sigma 3D is the printer. Let me just show you if I can. Let me see if I can find it. Just a second. Let me just give me just 1 minute. Let me just show you. Yeah, I've got it. Yes, this is the printer that you can see. This is the Sigma 3D printer, which can actually print using the two heads. Yeah, you can see there are two heads, and these two can be controlled simultaneously. But you can see one end is at the idle place while the other is printing. Okay, so here also they are using two heads, but that is printing one by one. Okay, thank you, sir. Over to you.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Shall we end the session? Okay, sir. Thank you, Rahul, sir, for giving us a very nice, interactive, and informative session. This is, and your whole team from the morning have given us a vast knowledge and also key points to make it even a new 3D printer itself. Thank you, sir. And it will also help all the professors to guide their students to make their own 3D printer. I think so. And they do have their contacts, and I hope many of them will contact you, sir. Thank you very much for your whole team for giving us a best interactive presentation on all these three sessions. I once again thank everyone, and I also thank all the professors who are patiently attending this FDP. And I kindly request all the professors to once again join on session 13 tomorrow morning, that is on day 5, by on the topic different 3D printing technologies by Mr. E. Sridhar Kumar. Thank you, professors. You may log off now, but we will share you the feedback link shortly through this chat box as well as in WhatsApp. Kindly fill your feedback and submit as ASAP so that it is for our attendance purpose. Thank you, sir. Thank you, friends.
Participants, one more note. Chief guest sir details from morning session till now. It is being shared by Vignesh sir in WhatsApp. You can have a contact of chief guest sir there also. Thank you all.
So thank you everyone. You guys have been a wonderful audience, and I tried to cover up all the things in 1 hour, but it went more than 1 hour. So sorry for the delays. So, but yes, thank you everyone for patiently handling it.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot. Thank you, sir.
It's okay, sir. Even it took a lot